Before I get to the main topic, let me address a few of the Bharati's in my comment sections. Hopefully, this will highlight to you the lack of common sense that certain individuals have. One person said, "Dude, stop using the fraudulent USD exchange rate to measure other countries economically, use PPP. First, every economist uses the nominal USD rate because it gives a level playing field when comparing different countries because they will obviously have different levels of inflation, interest rates, taxations, and such other things. Second, PPP is far more fraudulent than using a single currency. India's PPP GDP is $18 trillion, making it the third largest economy with fourth place far behind. Yet the reality is that 80% of Indians still live in poverty or near poverty. According to the World Bank, it is the greatest level of cope to mention the term PPP while pretending that India is somehow an economic powerhouse when the fact is that it can barely feed its own people. Whether you use USD, gold, barrels of oil, bushels of wheat, kilograms of cow dung, or liters of curry, the same outcome happens. Alright, let's continue with that video. You ever walked through a street and thought, this place is a mess and no one even cares? That's India for you, a country with 1.4 billion people and somehow zero common and civic sense in public spaces. This isn't a diss for the sake of it, this is reality. The shocking part, many Indians don't even see the problem. The litter on the ground, not my responsibility. Peeing on the street corner, normal behavior. Driving like you're in GTA, everyone does it. What's worse is that most Indians keep their own homes clean and litter-free while trashing the outside, meaning they know what they are doing is wrong, but they just don't care. Let's talk about what's really happening and why it's more than just a few bad apples, because when an entire society starts treating public spaces like trash bins and driving like maniacs, that's not a personal issue, that's a cultural failure. Let's start with one of the most visible problems, littering. You go to any Indian city, town, or village and you'll see plastic wrappers, gutka packets, broken glass, food waste, and God knows what else just everywhere. Streets, parks, riverbanks, it doesn't matter. People finish their chips or chai and just toss the cup onto the road like it's a trash can. No shame, no hesitation. India generates over 62 million tons of solid waste every year, and less than 30% of it is processed. The rest, well, it piles up in drains, clogs sewers, causes floods, and becomes a breeding ground for disease. And it's not because there aren't dust bins. Many places actually have them, people just refuse to walk 5 steps to use them. It's not just the trash, it's the total disregard for shared spaces. Large groups walk side by side on narrow roads, blocking everyone. Whether you're trying to get past them on foot or in a vehicle, good luck. They won't move. In their minds, the world revolves around them. Anyone else can wait. That mindset spills over into traffic, if we can even call it that. Driving in India is like being in a MadMax cow movie. There are rules, sure, but they're treated more like suggestions. Lane discipline? Never heard of it. Red light? Just honk and go. Wrong side driving is completely normal. Auto rickshaws take U-turns in the middle of highways. Bikers drive on footpaths. Cars double park, triple park, park on zebra crossings, and even on pavements meant for pedestrians. But even pedestrians aren't blameless. Anywhere you go there will be pedestrians walking across a busy road with no care in the world, expecting cars to stop for them at the last second. Blocking gates, driveways, hospitals, doesn't matter. The moment a person buys a vehicle, they start behaving like kings of the road, and the worst part, nobody enforces anything. Traffic cops are either overwhelmed, bribed, or just plain indifferent. It's a free-for-all and everyone's playing by their own rules. Another civic assault is the loudness of Indians in public spaces, especially the spaces where quietness is expected. People will talk on their phones loudly for hours, right next to sleeping passengers on the sleeper train. Children run around screaming. Groups chat through the night like they're at a tea stall. Watching a movie in a cinema. Be prepared for people answering calls mid-screening or loudly explaining plot points to their friends. So if you're studying in a library, you better be attending a top university that actually enforces its rules. Otherwise, pretty much any other library will likely have some loudmouth on the phone. It's not just annoying, it's honestly disrespectful, but again, no one really seems to see it that way. Then comes the public hygiene disaster. Spitting on the streets is, well, almost a national habit. Chewing pan and gutka seems incomplete unless it ends with a dramatic red stain on a wall or footpath. Public urination is a common sight, and yes, even defecation in open spaces still happens, especially along railway tracks. Trains in India are essentially mobile toilets with open discharge. We've seen government campaigns like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan trying to clean up the country, but you can't fix filth with just slogans. Until people change their mindset, nothing will really improve. Real change comes from within, not outside. And then there's noise pollution. In many countries, loud music at night is a serious offense. In India, though, it's kind of a hobby. Firecrackers at 1 in the morning because someone passed an exam? No problem. DJs blasting music for a wedding, a birthday, or just because someone felt like it? Totally acceptable. Religious events occupy streets, block traffic, and blast speakers without permits like it's totally normal. It's not that India lacks laws, it's that no one follows them, and honestly, no one really makes them follow it. Civic sense isn't taught, isn't respected, and definitely isn't enforced. Queuing is another disaster. You'll see people jumping lines at ticket counters, airports, banks, even temples. The idea of waiting your turn is, well, treated like a joke. People push, shove, and muscle their way forward like it's some kind of competition. Is it any wonder why so many stampedes happen in India? Just last week, the Bengaluru fans were celebrating their team's victory while they were pushing and shoving each other so much so that it turned into a crush, and sadly, resulted in multiple deaths. Even train travel, one of the most basic forms of long-distance mobility, is treated like a circus. People hop on and off moving trains like daredevils, even when there's absolutely no need to rush. Kids are often encouraged to do it for fun. It's dangerous, reckless, and leads to thousands of accidents every year. I posted a short of a man trying to hop a train with his dog. Instead of carrying the dog, he urges it to jump, but it fails and falls under the train. The absolute idiocy and lack of sense is, honestly, just astounding. You know what the real tragedy is? This behavior isn't just normalized, it's actually defended. Point it out and you'll be told, this is India, get used to it. And before someone says it's because of poverty, let's be honest, this isn't about income. You'll see well-dressed, educated people in SUVs rolling down their windows and throwing garbage out, or honking like maniacs because someone dared to stop at a red light. This is about attitude, not class. When Japanese cities were destroyed after World War II, did the Japanese just live in rubble and throw their sewage and litter onto the streets? No, they actually decided that living in filth was not what they wanted, and now cleaning and litter picking is an ingrained part of their culture. So where does India's lack of sense come from? Well, one reason is the complete lack of civic education. Schools focus on STEM and rote learning, but never really teach children how to behave in public. There's just no emphasis on empathy, on respecting others or the environment, or even understanding that your actions have consequences. The second issue is enforcement. In most developed countries, bad behavior is met with immediate fines or penalties. In India, you can break a dozen rules a day and never get caught, and if you do, you can just bribe your way out. Third, there's the Chalahai mindset. It means let it be, or it's fine. It's the most dangerous phrase in the Indian vocabulary. It's what allows people to overlook problems, accept chaos, and excuse their own selfishness. I feel sorry for the few Indians who actually are civic, law-abiding, and well-behaved, because they are surrounded and dwarfed by millions of others who are the complete opposite of them. But here's the truth. Nothing is going to change until Indians themselves decide enough is enough. It starts with the simple things. Use a dustbin, don't block footpaths, respect quiet zones, park responsibly, wait your turn, speak out against rule breakers, and set a good example. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, comment, and subscribe.